Okay, so here in chapter 4, we're going to do a chart of accounts and then start with opening up ledgers for our account for each specific account. So hopefully you've read through the chapter already and did the study guide, answered the questions through the 3 pages of the study guide. That way you're familiar with the terms and what's going on in this chapter. If you haven't done that yet, I suggest you go back to that and go through that first. That way you'll have a much better understanding of what's going on in the section review here. So for the work together 4-1, what we're going to do is we're going to create a chart of accounts for this business. So here are all of our account titles. So prepare a chart of accounts, arrange expense accounts in alphabetical order, use 3-digit account numbers, and number the accounts within the division by tens. The reasoning for that is so if we need to add accounts later on, there's enough room in between accounts or in between account numbers to add additional accounts, so everything stays in alphabetical order. So here's our example. So I'll go back. Looks like the name of our business is called Ross Company. There's no address, anything in there to worry about. So we'll start at the top. Ross Company. And then, so we're going to label our form. It's a chart of accounts. There's exactly how our example looks. Get the name of the business, chart of accounts. So now we're going to start with balance sheet accounts and our assets section. So you can see everything in the assets is going to be in the 100s. So we're just going to make this just like the example. We're going to, in half, and on one half balance sheets, on the other half income statement accounts. I'm sorry. So we'll write balance sheet accounts. So I've got balance sheet accounts on here, and just make sure we keep everything on this side. So that way we'll have room on the other side for our income statement accounts. So then we're going to start with assets. So I'll write 100 here. Assets. So our first 2 accounts, we've got cash and petty cash. So we can just assume that we've already got those on our list when I get back to the work together. So we'll start with 110, cash, 120, petty cash, like that. So we'll go back. We'll start probably going to have some accounts receivables and supplies and prepaid insurance. So we'll go back over here. So here's an accounts receivable. Here's an accounts receivable. Here's a prepaid insurance. And here's supplies. Remember down here, arrange expense accounts in alphabetical order. So we aren't to our expense accounts yet. Those are going to be on the other side, but still we should try to keep some of organization to it. If you choose, like if you were an accountant and you chose to have these in alphabetical order, you can. They're already numbered. So we'll start with the accounts receivable. So we'll go 130. I'm going to write AR for accounts receivable. The first one is Tyler Link. Then we'll go up by 10, 140. Accounts receivable, Megan Alvarez. Then we should have supplies and prepaid insurance. We got supplies, so 150. Supplies and 160. Prepaid insurance. Okay. So in our next section, going back to our example, liabilities, those are in the 200s. So those are our accounts payable. So we'll go 200. Liabilities. So we'll start with 210. Here's an accounts payable for sure supplies. So AP. Sure. Supplies. Another account number 220. That's an accounts payable, so make sure you write the AP on there. Mid-City Supplies. So that's what we have for our liabilities. Now you look back at your example. We've got owner's equity, a capital account, drawing account, and an income summary. So it's going to be 300. Owner's equity. Doesn't look very pretty there. So 310. So 310 is the capital account. So we got over here Clara Ross Capital. And 320 is going to be our drawing account. So we'll go ahead and write Clara Ross drawing. And that's the one where she takes money out to use. And then we should have, let's see, income summary, do we have that on here? Okay, so we don't have income summary, so we don't have to add that one. So that's in your example for your example here, so we're not going to add one of those because it's not listed as our accounts. So that takes care of this side. So now we're going to do the other side, our income statement accounts. We have our income statement accounts, and those are in the 400s. We got revenue and our expenses. So 400. revenue, and that's going to be sales. So here's our sales. That's it for revenue. So now we're going to have our expenses. So we're just going to use our list and our information and our expenses, and remember we have to alphabetize these. So those are going to start in the 500s. We should have that. So our first one, 510. So this looks like a good start. Automobile expense, I think we can all agree A comes first. Go ahead and do that. So don't have to worry about this side. We've got insurance expense, miscellaneous, rent, I before M, so insurance expense. So our next number is going to be 530. So take care of insurance. So we have miscellaneous, rent, and then supplies. I'm going to go ahead and abbreviate miscellaneous as MISC. 540. I think it was rent expense. 550. Supplies expense. So there are our expenses. So it should have taken care of everything up here. We've got rent expense, capital account, supplies expense. We've got supplies over here. It takes care of everything there. So that's number one. Okay, so that gets us to number two. Two new accounts, postage expense and utilities expense. They're to be added to the chart of accounts, prepared in instructions, assign the numbers to the two new accounts. So remember, we've got the extra space in between here. That's so we can add new accounts. So P comes before U, so our postage account's going to be first. And we know the postage is going to go in between miscellaneous and rent. So it says 530 to 540. So we can use 535. Postage expense. Then our other one is utilities expense. So the utilities are going to use going to come after the S, so that's going to be 560. Because remember, we didn't have anything after the 550. We didn't have a 560. So we'll just add a 560 on here. For utilities expense. So we got the 535, which, you know, when we do our ledgers, it'll be numbered in order between 540 and 550. Then our 560, because we didn't have anything else after 550, so we can just go ahead and go up by 10. So that takes care of number two. So now number 3, using the account form and the working papers, open a cash. It says open cash. Basically, we're going to create a new ledger for a cash account. So that's our bottom part here, number 3. So all we're going to do for this is just write cash, because that's our account title. And we've got our account. Our next thing to do is we have account number. That just comes from right here, 110. So then on our worksheet, whenever we have any cash transactions, each one of our individual cash transactions will be listed on this ledger. So it's just basically another set of records, but more detailed. And the account example was just on the opposite page. So there's your work together. You've got the back side now for the on your own. So go ahead and do the on your own part right here. Just remember, when you're adding your 2 new accounts, to make sure now they're in alphabetical order. Numerically, so you're going to have to squeeze in some extra numbers. So that's it for the work together. Now do the on your own.